everyone, today we are making yummy chili for dinner. So these are the things that you will need. I'm making it with ground beef. This is probably about £1.5 pounds. I usually put fresh peppers, but I don't have it, so I'm just going to use frozen ones. And this is peppers and onions. So usually when I add the meat, you would put the ground beef with onions, about half an onion. You can even put a full one if it's small. But since this has onions, I'm not going to add onions to the meat this time because it would just be too much. And these are the spices that we'll need. I have the chili spice, paprika, garlic powder, and cumin. That's going to go on our meat. So I'm going to add the meat on preheated oil. And like I said, if you're not adding the frozen onions, you would add 1 onion to the meat. And let that cook first. I'm going to add some spices to it and put the fire on medium to high. So we like more spices in our food, so I'm going to add more. If your family eats less spices, you just basically add less. So that was the paprika. This is the chili spice. Because you might think it's a lot, but when you mix in the veggies and the beans, it kind of all mixes up together, so it's not a lot. This is garlic powder. And cumin now. I just give it a few shakes of each. I don't like to add salt because all the spices have already salt in them also. And then I just think it becomes too salty for my liking. If you like food more salty, you can add more salt. So we have to let this cook for a little bit till it becomes more brown and all the spices mix up together. So I'm going to probably cook it for about 10 minutes uncovered. You don't even have to add anything to it. If you notice this, the meat, it drops water. So this is going to become more juicy once it starts cooking more. So I'm going to let that cook for 10 minutes before we transfer it to a bigger pot. It's been 10 minutes. As you can see how watery this is now. So the meat drops all this water. But most of the meat is nice and brown now, and all the spices are mixed up together. So I'm going to turn this fire off, and I'm going to transfer this into a bigger pot because this is too small where we can mix everything together. So our meat is in, and these are the things that we have to add. 1 can of black or the red beans. I'm adding the black one. I already drained it here. I don't wash it, but I just drain it so it's not so watery. I usually use fresh bell peppers, but I have frozen, so I'm going to use the frozen ones. If you're using fresh, I would put 1 red bell pepper and 1 green one. And I'm going to add, you can add beef stock, but I'm just going to add a cup of water to it. And this beef powdered, usually it comes in cubes, but this time it's powder, so I'm going to add that in. I'm going to add our black beans. You could use red ones also. And these are diced tomatoes. So depending on how much you like the tomatoes, you can add the whole pan. My kids don't really love the tomatoes, so I'm going to add maybe only half. Oh, I added almost full actually. That's fine. Once it cooks a little bit, hopefully they won't notice it. And then a spoon of tomato paste. Again, if you want it a little bit stronger, or if you have more meat and the ingredients, you can add 1 more spoon to that. And some of our bell peppers with onions. My pot is just big enough, as you can see. I'm going to mix it all up. This already smells delicious. And I'm going to put the fire on low, cover it up, and let it simmer for about 30 to 40 minutes to make sure that everything is cooked together. I'm also going to cover it. So cook it covered for about 30 to 40 minutes. Okay, it's been about 40 minutes, so I'm going to turn off the fire. And our chili is looking delicious. Look at that. I did have to add a little bit more water when I was cooking, so I don't like it too dry. I like it more watery, like this. And it's all ready. Hope you enjoy.